Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So a lot of people have been requesting the follow-up video on the iPhone SE. Well, the iPhone SE is still around. Yes, it's a little dingy, but you know, it's been inside of a case. That might be just like smudges from the case. But here's the iPhone SE 64 gig. Had it on board for a long time now. So this is not daily driven, but it's driven probably a couple times a week. If that, but it's holding up well. People wanted a follow-up video for this phone. I guess I don't know why, but I'm happy to give you one. So let's look at the build quality, because really iOS at this point, we know that Apple's getting ready to have the event, and they're going to bring a new iPhone, whether it's going to be called the iPhone 7 or I don't know. But I can tell you what, I've said it before, and I'll say it again in this video. This iPhone right here, like the iPhone 5 and the iPhone SE and 5S, these are all pretty much the same. I think if the iPhone 6S would have had this body just at a bigger screen, the hardware is killer. I think this is some of the best hardware on a device to date from Apple. This is really good in the hand. It's got that rugged, rigid feel around the edges, and it's just one of the best feeling iPhones ever. And it is small. It's a very small iPhone, but this small iPhone packs some punch. It's got great cameras, front and rear. As you can see the dual tone LED there. This little iPhone is taking, like Apple says, that it's for people who didn't want a bigger phone. And this is definitely a small phone, but it's doable. It's a doable phone. I could use this every day if I needed to. Only thing I ran into problems with was texting after a while. But the front camera is solid. The rear camera is really solid, and outperforms a lot of cameras on the market today. Let's just be honest. This phone is this is 64 gig, and it's priced at $499. So is it worth it? It's gonna have to. The value needs to be whether a person thinks this is worth it or not. You have to leave that up to the person. If you want an Apple phone, just know that they don't have expandable memory, and they're going to charge you for that memory. Now, as far as memory upgrades go, this is probably one of the better ones, going from 16 to 64 for $100. That's pretty good. But supposedly on the new iPhone, they're going to jump. It's only going to be three models: 32, 128, and 256. So that's going to be a nice hit if they actually do pull that trigger. But this phone right here anyone can use this phone. I mean, not because it's easy to use, like the selling point that Apple tries to put out there. There's nothing easy about this phone that you don't find in an Android phone. It just depends on the person, what they feel is going to be easy to use. So, again, going back to the cameras, they're really solid. Build quality is definitely still there. This is some of the best build quality I've seen on a device, period, from Apple. It's really, really good. I wish more phones had this. The vibrate rocker switch. OnePlus has incorporated it for notifications, and I think OnePlus is the iteration of that is actually a little bit better. But that's just because it's built for the Android ecosystem. But just having a vibrate switch alone, that takes this phone to another level. And that might sound like, oh yeah, right, Jay, but really, I hate going into the settings and holding down the volume rocker just to get it to vibrate on other phones, or going into the settings and turning on vibrate. I hate doing that. With these phones, with all iPhones, the pleasure of a vibrate switch is more than welcome. Overall, though, it's on the latest operating system, and it's running like a champ, just like brand new. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this phone. I guess at this point in the game, you would have to ask, how does it stand up? And I have the Axon 7 sitting back here, not for any particular reason, but you have to start to ask yourself, if I like. People have been requesting, hey, should I get this or the iPhone SE? So that means that the iPhone SE is still relevant. People have actually asked, should they get this or the OnePlus 3 or this? Because I think they're kind of in the same price range, but this phone is very small, and that's something that they will probably want. My OnePlus 3 is right here, right there, and to me, it's just a matter of preference, I guess, at this point. Because if you like iOS, Apple has given 3 different sizes of the phone. Where the iPhone 4, 4S, they don't really count anymore. Production is ending for those. But current market, I think the SE is a great buy. If you're wanting to save a lot of money, I mean, I guess just think of it like this. The 64 gig iPhone 6s is what, 750 or something like that. That's crazy. This 64 gig is only 499. When you're comparing within Apple's system, this is a great buy, and you're getting the same phone pretty much in a different body. That's it. Yeah, I would definitely jump on this. My only concern would just be, the screen size. I'd have to hold it like this to actually text. I mean, look at this. Looks like a pager in my hand. Look how small this is. Look at this. It's crazy. This is crazy, but it's still a great phone. Let's see. I'm gonna tell you where this phone actually shines at. The battery. The battery on this phone. If you want a phone that's gonna last you all day, pick up this phone. If you want a phone that's gonna last a couple days, pick up this phone. Because I was on a trip and I bought one of these, or I took it with me. Go back to my videos. You'll see that I took this phone with me, the black one though. And I had my S7 at the time and my G5 at the time, and I had all those phones with me, and I had to go back to using the SE. I said it in a review. The review's up. It's still on my channel somewhere. Go find it. I had to pull out the SE because the battery life was just really good. And believe it or not, in my car, I just plug this in and all my music goes to the car. It's kind of a convenience thing, I guess, what I was getting at the time, and it worked out perfect for me. So the phone excels at battery. It excels at compatibility with certain vehicles. The camera is really good. The build quality is still top notch. And I think what's happening now is you might hear me talk about it a lot, and some people are saying, "Oh, Jay, why you got to bring up price?" Well, price is important. I mean, to everybody, no one just wants to throw money out of the window. We don't want to do it. It doesn't matter how much money we have. It's not a matter of we can afford it or not. It's a matter of being smart with your funds, because a lot of us are probably taking care of somebody else. It's not just about us. So we can't just go spend $900 on a phone. We have to get permission, pretty much. If you're married, you got to get permission. So married people are going to say, yeah, I know what you mean. But you can't just go out and spend $1,800 on a set of rims. You just can't do it. You have to, when I say get permission, you just got to communicate. That's all, because, it's, in the end, it's just a cell phone. And I can see why a person would ask, hey, Jay, should I get the Axon, the OnePlus, or the SE? Because you know what? Honestly, the SE's hardware is really, really good. I just wish this was a bigger phone. And then it could get used every day. Even a 5-inch screen would have been really, really nice in this body. So, Apple, do something with your hardware, even though we already know what the leaks look like, but they've gotten away from this hardware. And I think this hardware is some of the best hardware that Apple has ever given. And that's just my opinion. But the phone is holding up obviously pretty well. Like there's some dings and little nicks and stuff here, but you're taking it in and out of a case, and that's what happens. But the camera is still on par, if not better than some other phones on the market. Battery life is just smashing on several phones on the market. Hardware is top notch from Apple. I think I've said it a million times. I just said it a few minutes ago, didn't I? Like 3 or 4 times. Hardware is killer. Best hardware Apple ever brought out. I just disagree with, here's where it fails, that it fails in memory options and pricing. And that seems to be the thing for a lot of devices out right now. So, the iPhone SE is a great phone. I would still recommend it. My only concern is the price, paying $500 for it. And that's with a lot of phones. It costs more than the Axon 7, $499 plus tax, almost $450, $451 is what this costs. This phone is $432 with taxes. The OnePlus 3 is $432 with taxes, but OnePlus doesn't charge taxes, so that's a straight $400. So that's the best of all as far as pricing in this group that I'm talking about. But the iPhone SE, yes, I would still recommend it. I definitely would recommend it. And depending on the person, I guess let me just end the review right now, and then we'll talk for a second. So the review is over. This phone is still relevant. It's still very good. It still gets high marks. It still is a phone that you should consider purchasing. Downfalls, price, and expandability for memory. Other than that, it's competing. Either you like iOS or you don't like iOS. Now, let's move on to discussion. People often ask, should I buy this over this, or which one would you buy? You have to use, now these phones all these phones are in the store except for the OnePlus. You can't use the OnePlus. You're going to have to find someone who actually has a OnePlus and you have to ask them, can I play with it for a little bit? But this phone is definitely in stores, so I'm kind of surprised that people still ask these questions. What should I get? You can go to the Apple store and go play with this. You can go to Best Buy and go play with this. They're there depending on what state you live in. They actually have these in store to play with. So when shopping for a phone, it's difficult to ask someone who reviews phones because we have them all. So I'm going to tell you, that's great. Buy them all. If you can, buy all of them, and then just switch your SIM card in and out every now and then. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you can take a phone, I'm not going to use the Note 7 because the people are just killing that phone right now. The jokes on the Note 7 are just off the charts right now. People are slamming the Note 7 left and right. So I'm not going to use the Note 7 as an example. Let's use the iPhone 6s Plus. We paid $1,100 a piece for those phones, plus, I think it came to like $1,182 with taxes. That is way overpriced. I've said that in many videos. That is too much for a phone. And we still have those on deck. iPhone 6s, iPhone 6s Plus are still on deck. And several of the iPhone 6s and 64 gig. Those phones are overpriced. So if you can get multiple phones for the price of one, I say go ahead and do it. I would tell a person when they say, hey, what should I do? Should I get this or this? And it has a different operating system. Try to find phones that have the same operating system, the different operating systems in the lower price bracket. So this phone is actually affordable for $499, 64 gig. It's basically the iPhone 6s in a smaller package. So it's definitely doable, and it's got a smaller price tag. Now, when it comes to Android, when people start asking, should I get this and this, I say get both of them because the Android phones are going to be a lot more affordable. You got the LG Stylo 2 Plus. You can grab that phone everywhere right now, as low as $69 or $79 depending on the carrier. If you don't want to go as far as $500 or $400 for your secondary phone, if you will, the one that you probably won't use a lot of, that you're going to switch your SIM card in and out of, hit places like Walmart, and if you have T-Mobile, and I have to use T-Mobile as my choice of example because that's their primary carrier. Hit Walmart and hit Family Mobile because a lot of the phones that T-Mobile has, Walmart has them. You just put your SIM card in there. The Stylo 2 Plus is a phenomenal phone. And we have the ZTE Axon Pro, Z Max Pro. That's the phone that will work on T-Mobile after you get it unlocked. These are all options that are very affordable. And if you're going to ask me have I reviewed it, just go back through my channel. I can guarantee you I've reviewed it. So you have to start doing your research. When you look at tech reviewers like me and several other people out there, where you see us, not having production models, like the day the phone comes out, you don't see us posting a review right away because we've been using it for a month or 2 weeks already, or we've had it for a few days. I don't think I can do a review on a device after 3 days. I don't see how any reviewer could do that, but that's what I'm starting to see a lot of. I'll see a phone come out, and then boom, 3 days later, here's my full review. And they're saying that they just got it. Now, either they've had it for a while, I don't know. But one of my favorite reviewers, MKBHD, we know that he probably has the iPhone already. He has nearly every phone at least 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and that's why I go to him sometimes for reviews. To watch when I want to see a device and get a review, because I feel like he's playing a neutral field at one point or another. So, but I think that when you start asking questions about should I buy something, my response is going to be try to get both of them. And people laugh at that, but it's your money. You can practice a return policy if you want to. I'd hate to return phones, so I try to only bring things on the channel that I know I want to keep. Because I know it came from my pocket. This phone right here, I was transparent about it. I'm a part of a developer program, and they gave me this one. This isn't even mine technically, but I've had it for like 4 months now because actually I'm still doing testing with this phone. And if you don't see it on the channel anymore, they said, hey Jay, box it up and send it back. So I don't have a reason to lie, but I've still been reviewing cases and things like that. And I can't disclose too much about, developing. People always ask me, how did you get on-screen buttons? I've said it in the comments. This is not a US based phone. This is a developer's edition, so it has everything on there. That's probably why some people have problems with Verizon and Sprint, and this one didn't. So nonetheless, get out of here, Axon. Still in the show. The iPhone SE is relevant. I would definitely recommend it. And I think if you're still asking about the iPhone SE and should you get it or not, or should you wait on the next iPhone, then the price on this is probably going to go down. So if you don't have to have the latest and greatest on every new phone, if you can wait several months, you'll start to get the best pricing ever. And average consumers don't upgrade every 3 months like techies do, or every month like a techie did. You know, you'll see a new video from a techie every couple of weeks, or on a different phone that comes out, they'll buy everything. Average consumers don't do that. So if you're an average consumer asking that question, I'm going to tell you, and your end user, average consumer, go into the store and play with it. That's what the demos are there for. Spend at least 25 minutes if you can playing with the phone. And that sounds like a long time, but trust me, it goes by really fast when people leave you alone and stop asking you, can I help you with anything? What you looking for? You just tell them, no, I just want to play with this phone for about 20 minutes, and I'll decide whether I want to buy it. I guarantee you they'll leave you alone. And then they'll tell the other rest, that's my customer right there. Just kind of, let them play with the phone. That's it. So the iPhone SE, yeah, it's good. Put it back in this beautiful case. It's good. It's very relevant. And I think if you decide to pick it up, I don't think you'll be disappointed. You're basically buying a 6S in a mini body. This is a mini. Yeah, shots fired. This is a mini. I'm out, y'all.